well, there's 2 kills, not only one.
Yeah,
so
there's 2 kills.
SilverName, this is not a great start. Not as bad as that one, massacre that went on turn 1 a few games ago between SilverName and I believe it was Lothar in that game too, but still not great. And of course, only 5 damage on Axe because of the armor, no proc on the Janata, so a very healthy Axe, very healthy Aglodi going forward.
Yep, this flop is a disaster. Now, if you're SilverName, you're looking at this Ironfog Gold Mine, you really don't want to put it into this left lane because smash the defenses is a possibility, but it looks like he's going to play it anywhere. Anyway, Miss QQ, unfortunately, doesn't have the smash in her hands, but if she draws it, she will be able to kill this.
Yeah, with only 2 black heroes on the lanes right now, you could have played maybe an Ironfog Gold Mine here. Yeah. Playing around the smash, and also on the next lane instead. You don't have any more plays aside from those 2 3-mana plays for this turn, so probably a better play to maybe not play lane 1.
Yeah, the idea if you're SilverName is basically identify the Legion Commander, and at that lane 1 you want to zoom out and you want to think, okay, where does the Legion Commander probably not want to go? That's the only lane you kind of care about putting the Ironfog Gold Mine in, because at the very least you can force that Legion Commander where she doesn't want to go to get that smash off. Of course, Miss QQ ending up not having it in her hand based on what we can see. Assassin's Apprentice curves right into that melee creep, and this is a good function of Assassin's Apprentice.
This is a unit that hasn't been played too much. I think Black in general doesn't have enough space in the red-black list we've seen to include a card like this. It is possibly a strong card in the right situation, turn 1, but again, I don't think it's like an S-tier card like some other black cards that kind of compete for a space in that 2-3 mana slot. But it's working out here.
Yeah, it's a little underrated. SilverName really wants to be able to find a melee creep spawn mid to have a lane where he can put Sorla in. Without that, Sorla is not necessarily going to have a great play here. She can go left and try to get across from a creep, but even then, she's not really being able to kill the tower. If anything, maybe her best bet is trying to spawn into the axe and hoping there's no health item, but we obviously see the cloak in Miss QQ's hand.
And Miss QQ could have saved more gold, maybe hoping for a payday to get that Horn of the Alpha online quicker, but the Traveler's Cloak will save the Axe if this happens, this exact duel between Sorlikon and Axe. So a bit, maybe a big play from Miss QQ, identifying the possibility of this matchup in turn 2 and buying that Traveler's Cloak.
Yeah, there's the smash draw as well, and this is actually going to be very useful in this matchup. This will be able to go against these Ironfog Gold Mines. SilverName not playing around to smash the defenses, and this is where he ends up getting punished for it. Now, doesn't have to come down this lane. You could play it off of the Legion in the mid lane as well, and this is what Miss QQ is thinking about right now, because the smash is going to come down in one of these lanes, and she just wants to develop whichever other card she can for value.
The Mercenary on this lane, if it does curve and you do pump it up, could kill the Sorlikon this turn. If you're looking for a kill, that may be an option. You have 2 or 3 plays to make, I guess, in this turn. Duel also available.
Yeah, I think there's no reason to go for such an early gank or duel if you're Miss QQ. I would like to see a Mercenary Exiles played against the Aglodi and maybe even pumped against it to win it in combat.
Yeah, we saw it also get pumped very early on to 10 attack a few games ago. It's viable. I mean, you're sinking in a lot of gold, but you get a very strong unit early on. You get a trade onto the Glody as well if you pump it, and it's a lot of damage going forward as well.
I love this play. Minor kind of sequencing thing from Miss QQ, but even though she has smash, she realizes she's going to want to use it mid. The Legion is even potentially dying mid, which means that, if the second smash gets drawn in the next 3 cards, which is fairly likely, she'll still be able to smash off of the axe, which survives this combat phase.
And that is essentially a 6th hero. I mean, 8, 1, 10 are some great stats compared to, let's say, Crystal Maiden, for example. But in this lane, Smash the Defense is going to block some gold. And because the gold can't be spent until the shopping phase, it really doesn't matter if it's lane 1 or 2. There isn't a unit in black that can spend gold like Mercenary Exiles in red. So it's really not a big thing here.
So if you're SilverName, all you can really do right now is try to get a value gank out of your Phantom Assassin before she ends up dying to the Legion. The best one on board is the Axe. I think SilverName is going for that here. Oh, going for the Bounty Hunter instead. So it looks like SilverName is just trying to kind of maybe lock Miss QQ out of a play option here.
And the 2-for-1 in this mid lane, kind of stabilizing a little bit, getting the kill on the Legion, as well as the kill on the Bounty Hunter isn't too bad. Of course, the health total there for Phantom Assassin does play perfectly into that gank.
Yep.
Able to trade. 2-for-1 is always going to be a good thing with these heroes for 4 mana as well.
Exactly. I mean, it's so strong when you see that gank in that situation. You're basically getting almost a 4 mana coup de grace that doesn't discard because you get a free kill on something. I mean, it's even lane-wide too. Normally with gank you pay health, but the Phantom Assassin has an irrelevant health stat here because she's dying to the Legion Commander. So really amazing gank there.
And using life as a resource is always going to be definitely a useful thing. We've seen it many times before. Your hero's going to die anyway. You might as well take someone else with you.
I have to say, Panda, we both favor Miss QQ in this matchup. SilverName has basically a perfect scenario, almost ideal. Tinker's coming back with Laser being able to come off of cooldown if it stays alive for one turn. Double March in the hand approaching turn 5. This situation almost doesn't get better for SilverName even given the unfavored matchup.
And this lane looks very wide. Phantom Assassin also at 1 health will provide an upkeep kill if SilverName does put a March on the Machines improvement onto that lane. So it's not looking too bad for him. He has a chance to ram into this late game. He has cards like March on the Machines, Assassinate as well for both players. So the late game will definitely get interesting. There is, the red heroes and red cards do normally include a Time of Triumph in their deck. So Miss QQ may be a more favorable 8 mana drop going into the late game.
I mean, you look at this turn, these next 3 lanes for Miss QQ. What is she going to do here? Stonehall Elite doesn't really do much, develops unit left. You can't really gank with Sniper's Body. If SilverName puts the March of the Machines on the right side with either Sorla or any of these black heroes he's deploying, he will regain control of that lane and lock QQ out of options.
I don't think there are any options for Miss QQ to take that lane this turn. It is a clear lane. There are many minions, but I believe she isn't running the Oath, unlike, for example, Lothar, so you don't really have an option to push it this turn before that March can really do a lot of damage. And anyway, you're going to see, well, you're not going to see the March of the Machines played before because Sniper seems to be going into that 3rd lane, but there are 3 heroes, of course, so it's not
SilverName will be able to develop anything, anywhere. I actually think I favor this deployment. Predicting the Sniper goes mid, Bounty Hunter, contest it, there it is, fighting it. You see the Tinker developed left. If it stays alive, which, it's not going to here, even with the assistance of the Shield of Aquila, but if you're able to have a health item there, it will stay alive and can threaten the assassination in 2 turns.
And a Gloaty Vandal, a very good card going into late game. It seems like kind of a mid-game, early-game card, but being able to push those last little points of damage, we've seen so many turns stall out with 1 HP towers, 3 HP towers. Gloaties are great at dealing direct damage, kind of like Bullet Democles, but obviously 4 mana and a lot less HP, but still very powerful aggro cards for the late game.
Bit of a tricky situation here if you are SilverName. I actually really think I would like to see a march from left to mid and then a follow-up march from mid to right. The risk of this is maybe Miss QQ has something to disrupt this Bounty Hunter from being able to do that, but at 5 mana, you are locked out of coup, among other possible options like Assassinate.
And that's kind of the optimal value for March. You get the full value from both lanes before the action phase starts, so you can get the value this turn as well and get the direct impact on the board immediately.
So we're going to see something pretty interesting here. Miss QQ will presumably follow this up with a Blink Dagger on Axe. This threatens the Sorla Khan, but this gives SilverName, and you'll see this in a second, I'm sure, a huge opportunity for Shield of Aquila. As soon as Miss QQ develops the Blink Dagger, hopefully SilverName won't commit the Shield of Aquila yet. A Gloaty Vandal trades into the Stonehall Elite very well, but the Shield protects not only the Sorla from the Axe, but the creep next to her as well. And the Gloaty. This is such a huge Shield of Aquila.
And this Stonehall could have curved, but it doesn't. So in the end, it's going to be direct tower damage instead.
SilverName might be winning this, Panda. This is a perfect situation for him.
You couldn't ask for much better. I mean, we'll have to see the late game, but there are still very powerful red cards like Berserker's Call, Time of Triumph going online later. I mean, the towers are very healthy. That is true. Still 40 HP in this first lane. Shield is a great item to buy early on. You get so much value from it.
A minor optimization tweak from SilverName, playing the Gloaty first, and maybe he wants to commit himself to the March instead of marching from mid to right. Playing the Gloaty first is a great play, forces QQ to maybe commit some more questionable development into something like a Blink Dagger, which you can kind of bait with items in that way, right? If you play the Gloaty Vandal first, which is a pretty normal play, it doesn't telegraph anything, it trades with the Stonehall Elite pretty well, then the Blink Dagger gets played, and if you're SilverName and you're counting the gold in the hand, you can pretty much guarantee there's a Blink Dagger in Miss QQ's hand.
And the shield just gives more information to Miss Q to maybe make a better decision. Maybe not equip the Blink Dagger, maybe equip it. Whereas if you don't equip that shield, you play the Gloaty first, you're going to do it anyway. And now there's the Blink, the Talent Pearl Scroll from Axe back to the fountain.
And you got to see the Gloaty Vandal being developed here. This is just too perfect. You don't really need March on both other lanes this turn, just due to the nature of this Aquila coming down. There it is. I love it. This left lane is out of control for Miss QQ.
And who would have thought when a Gloaty Vandal would ever trade into a Stonehall Elite, who does have the armor, does have the big power, but there it is. No damage because of the shield.
To Miss QQ's side, at the very least, Tinker is dying before Laser comes up, but I mean that will still come out, and there's not too much Miss QQ can do about it. Here, we're going to see probably the Assassin's Apprentice come out to defend the Sniper. We will redirect the arrow from the Bounty Hunter, but it gets met with a really, really good March. You got to see that March come out, mid to right if you're SilverName.
Now, is there a gank available from Sniper after the Blink Dagger is equipped onto the right lane Sniper, for example? Clears out that right lane Sniper, But of course, with Assassin's Apprentice coming down instead, gank is not available by 1 mana. That would have been a huge, huge play.
Honestly, I think I might have favored the gank play better there. It does commit to Blink Dagger, which is very, very risky, but you're getting that gank play for free. You're locking yourself out of the other gold mine, which you can't curve. But if you really favor slowing down SilverName's tempo play, locking them out of the ability to play a card for a turn will just slow them down much more. I love this March by SilverName. It looks like he's kind of maybe learned a bit more about March development from the last time we watched him.
And that is so much value. Dodging, of course, all of the armor that is available in Miss QQ's deck. You have Stonehall Elite and Axe, for example, in lane 1 with the Mercenary Exiles. Instead, going into a lane with no armor whatsoever. I mean, we're seeing absolutely no armor, so it's going to be full value every turn that's going to be there, and a huge creep wave means that there are going to be, you know, just not just this turn, but the next turn as well. It's going to clear it out completely.
Yep, and we can see Miss QQ curve the Assassin's Apprentice damage into this melee creep over here on the left side. Just a little bit of optimization, killing this creep, allowing her to survive. So a part of the ability you get out of Assassin's Apprentice, the fact that you can choose its combat target. She's going to decline that there in favor, hitting the bounty to 4 instead, and the reason she wants to do this is so that next turn on initiative, Sniper has the headshot. So by not curving the Apprentice, she's committing that she needs the initiative. Next turn, mid, Sniper headshot off cooldown, Bounty Hunter eats it to a single shot.
And there is also the chance for a hipfire draw. There is a 1-of in this deck for Miss QQ, so also possibility the 4 health total is kind of the perfect opportunity for the hipfire to come down.
Yep. At this point, if you're SilverName, that play might be a little bit telegraphed. If you kind of see that the Assassin's Apprentice didn't curve, you're thinking, okay, she really needs initiative in the mid lane now, so maybe he starts fighting for initiative.
And there's the March. We'll get the upkeep kill on the Mercenary Exile, so a very strong unit. You can, of course, heal it. Sometimes you don't normally heal units or creeps, but in this case it might be worth it because it is very strong, and you still have the possibility to continue pumping it later on with 10 gold.
Miss QQ seeing the Vesture, but electing to just buy her health items, perhaps this second Blink Dagger here. She's thinking about those 2 paydays in her deck. Now, when you've got 2 paydays instead of 3, I think you don't really hold out on items. You're very non-committal payday deck at that point. You just buy your items. 2 Blinks gives her tons of mobility.
And buying these cheap items means that item list for Miss QQ is going to be a lot, you know, emptier. It's going to be only horns left, basically, and a few more items, but a much higher chance of getting that Horn of the Alpha when you need to get it, when you have the gold available.
So at this point, it's all about this mid lane here. SilverName has pretty much cleared up right, but it's still a low health tower. Miss QQ is going to have to develop at least 1 hero right. Ooh, double right. I could see this. I could see it. But Miss QQ is going to give up left, which, you know, she has to do. That Shield of Aquila plus Sorla is too scary. That's a really good melee creep spawn, though. This really slows down the Sorla plus the Agloti.
Could we see a gank possibly from lane 2 onto that Sniper, just clear out lane 3 and make sure that Bounty, if he gets a proc plus Legion, can potentially just take it this turn and guarantee the tower kill?
It's very possible. She'll want to take the headshot first, so she has the ability to pass for initiative. There is no initiative play in SilverName's hand. He does have the pickoff. The pickoff in particular here locks out the snipers from being able to headshot. This is a really, really powerful pickoff.
And blocks the gank as well.
You have to see this. If you're SilverName, I love it. This is really, really good. SilverName is, I mean, this might be, he's doing so much better than he was in the first game. There was some kind of criticism about like some minor optimization errors, but he's playing very well here.
Especially with the items that Miss QQ has bought with the Traveler's Cloak and the Blink Daggers. You could have saved the Sniper, ganked, and still would have survived to continue, you know, contesting this lane. So much denied by that pickoff. Being able to see that, you know, again, we mentioned the 4 health total being so important against Black, and with Black, because there are cards like pickoff, like Hipfire that can kill instantly if you have initiative.
SilverName has the payday as well. Duel comes out on the Bounty Hunter, locking SilverName out of that option. Now he can play payday, he can play Agloti Vandal. If you are SilverName, you know your Sniper does have initiative at this moment to be able to play payday. You can't headshot to kill something right away, which is kind of the one thing you're looking for. No gank in hand either.
And the Blink Dagger will kill the Phantom Assassin as well. We talked about 2-for-1 trades before. This is going to be another great one if Miss QQ goes for this.
Yep. SilverName should respond with the Traveler's Cloak. This does give up initiative. It looks like we will see that here. So I'd like to see the Cloak come out on the Phantom Assassin. Forcing it out is just going to be high value. This does lose initiative, though. So you do not have the ability to play for a headshot onto the Bounty Hunter, which would have killed it immediately to the March of Machines. Honestly, there is a consideration to have let that die. If Miss QQ plays anything else here, if she blinks the axe away, she loses initiative, and that's huge. She knows that headshot is there. She knows the March will tick.
And I think if you know the headshot's going to happen, you can gank in this lane and just trade the Bounty Hunter for the Sniper anyway. It's a viable, I mean, your Legion Commander survives as well, but still, The margin of machines continues to tick.
You can also take the Berserker's Call to just clear out the sniper immediately. I think you do have to do one or the other, though, especially with this creep aimed directly at the sniper. Ooh, she's just going to take the proactive cloak. This is the more defensive play of her options. She sees SilverName only has 2 cards in hand, and she's not really afraid of letting him play something. He's not going to play the headshot, though.
That's really big because it opens up the gank to happen between Bounty Hunter and Sniper, and Bounty Hunter still survives the next turn of the March of the Machines.
Yep. It looks like we'll just see the track come out here. Miss QQ just trying to gain gold. SilverName right now has 37 gold. QQ is going to go up to 27. Both players looking for their Horn of the Alphas. QQ doesn't find it. She doesn't have enough gold to buy it.
And we talked about her emptying her deck before, but still not enough. The Magicking Maul does block it there, and we'll see if SilverName does find it. 37 gold gives you a much better chance.
That's brutal, not being able to find it on the side of Miss QQ. Now, one very important thing here, SilverName does have the Assassinate that he drew early on. This is the Assassinate turn. You have dominance over left lane. Left lane is not only important to be able to kill the Ancient in the race faster, but you can impact other lanes on the same turn. SilverName has this Assassinate. You can do anything you want with this. I love the idea of killing the Phantom Assassin in the middle lane. That would be probably the best target here. Let's see if he does it.
We mentioned it for the same reasons as Thunder God's Wrath and Salamanian Storm. Having lane 1 control gives you so much power over the rest of the lanes as well. Assassin is going to come down here, I think. I mean, almost definitely.
There it is.
And there we go.
There it is on the PA. I love this.
And locking Black out until the very last lane.
SilverName is looking like he might have a win here. I mean, this left lane is out of control. Assault Ladders is still... He doesn't use the golden ticket here.
And he found the golden ticket in the secret shop. So double high roll potential from SilverName. He could find an item that would maybe seal the deal. He does have, already very strong items in his deck. His deck is focused towards buying these very strong items late game thanks to the gold synergy, but golden ticket could aid even more in that, in that mission.
And this axe just isn't really doing that much in this lane. SilverName has complete control over left and middle lanes right now. We have initiative on the side of Miss QQ. She has nothing to play with it. She might have to blink her axe away, but this is the only lane she needs to fight for. She needs to play on defense because she's already left.
There's a 1-for-1 trade. Well, 2-for-1 counting that creep there, but like you said, left lane is completely lost.
Golden ticket.
Middle lane is not looking great, and Bristol Emblem is not fantastic.
So if you're SilverName, I really love the combination of a Gloaty Vandal into Assault Ladders into Red Mist Maul here. This just does wonders for pressuring this tower. Now, the one thing you could consider is maybe wanting to commit the ladders left instead, but mid kind of has to be the best option for this just because mid is the lane to fight for. Right now, Miss QQ does not have control over this game at all. 2 heroes respawning 2 turns from now. This looks over.
It looks like a very strong showing from SilverName. A lot of aggro, which Black, does very well in damage. We saw a lot of hero kills before they could even act, and that's what Black is best at. With a pickoff, with cards like Sniper and Ticker's abilities. I mean, you can kill heroes before they can even play their card, which is absolutely massive in Artifact.
Yep. Now, what Miss QQ does have is this lane. She's got Assassinate here. She'll be using that now, presumably killing the middle hero. That is Tinker. There it goes, and the laser is still down. Now, she can take a Blink Dagger, maybe even a Healing Salve, get one of these heroes out of here.
You can kill the 0-tick March of the Machines. Not great value, but still, maybe she feels good about that one.
She's not going to take a Blink out here, which might end up hurting her a little bit. With only 1 hero deploying in the lane she needs to defend against 2, she might not have it. She needs the Horn. There it is. Horn of the Alpha found. She can buy the Potion of Knowledge here. This is really, really powerful, but SilverName might have the opportunity to just lock her out of options. SilverName has initiative. He needs to top deck either Assassinate or Coup de Grace.
And 31 gold also allows SilverName to buy items. He can potentially push the first lane. It's looking uncontested right now. There's a chance to just go aggro first lane. Doesn't have the ult, but he does have Assault Ladders. He has Horn of the Alpha as well, maybe. And you can push it with siege damage.
SilverName. Gank is another option. Any of those 3 cards will lock out this game entirely. Assassinate, Coup de Grace, or Gank. And the Sniper dies without Miss QQ being able to do anything. Apotheosis Blade bot on the side of SilverName. Does not find any of the items SilverName's looking for. Potion of Knowledge gives him the additional chance of drawing one of those cards.
We mentioned before, or the analyst panel mentioned, Apotheosis Blade against Horn of the Alpha. I think it's an interesting thought, but because of the way that these items work, you have to equip them and then activate them. They can't really, work against each other. If you see Apotheosis Blade come down, you don't play Horn of the Alpha. If you see Horn of the Alpha come down, you can activate still, even if Apotheosis Blade is played after. So not the biggest counter, I think.
Yeah, I definitely agree with you on this one, Panda. Apotheosis Blade is very slow. The fact that it takes an additional action, and it's not like a deploy effect on the item, if the opponent has a Blink Dagger on the hero, they can leave, or if they just have Horn of the Alpha, they can at least tap it, and then the trade is not even necessarily favorable on the side of the Apotheosis Blade.
Although, you do want to play Horn of the Alpha in this lane no matter what. So it is kind of playing around that where you have to play the Horn of the Alpha first, and if you do, it does get countered eventually. Because you don't, I mean, you have to fight for this lane no matter what. You have to play Horn of the Alpha and try and get an extra body and extra steep damage onto this tower.
Now, if SilverName plays Apotheosis Blade first, he might get trapped into using it before the Horn of the Alpha comes down. If he's watching Miss QQ's gold, he knows she has a Horn of the Alpha in her hand. That is knowledge that he has information access to. There's the Horn. We'll have to see the Apotheosis Blade come out in response to it, but the Horn can trigger once. One dinosaur is coming down. Apotheosis Blade not played yet. Waiting for her to develop more items.
And there it is, the Thunderhide pack in black. A new addition to black.
Now, one thing is, normally, if the Apotheosis Blade comes out after the Blink Dagger, the blink can be done to blink away, but this lane matters too much. You cannot leave this lane if you're Miss QQ. 22 damage on your last tower, and there's no way out of this. You need to take something like a gank, but there's not enough damage to shut down here. The Sniper has the inevitable siege.
And there's a problem with a hero like Sniper. He has a great ability. He has, you know, a great signature card, but with only 5 attack.
Oh no, Miss QQ's going for the gank on the Assassin's Apprentice. The Apotheosis Blade just locks out the Horn of the Alpha. I think you need to do a passive play there. Oh, and I love this. SilverName's holding the Apotheosis Blade, not using it yet because you know Lethal's on his side, and that's actually really important. Miss QQ needs to be able to Blink Dagger, use that extra damage to gank, but without being able to bait out SilverName's... Oh my god.
Not again. No, competitive maybe, but the third time. Come on.
There it is. There it is. Everyone, eyes on SilverName's face here. Oh
my goodness. You have to learn from these mistakes. I mean, people are sacrificing themselves to help you out.
3 times in one tournament. We're only in the group stages.
This is unbelievable. I mean, Super JJ and Ray name a lesson, and still, that's incredible. I guess we're going to game 2. Miss QQ did not deserve that win, but she has it because this is a thing in Artifact. You have to play.
You have to respect the clock.
Yeah,
it's like chess. You have this timer, and it is part of what the game is built around.
That's incredible. I am speechless.
Yeah, neither of us actually noticed that. You might.
I mean, because it's something you don't expect. I mean, at this level, with it's happening 2 times already in this tournament. I mean, you have to be focusing on that clock if you're SilverName. That is very unfortunate.
Yep. So, I mean, this game is still going fairly decently for SilverName so far. I mean, the flop has very much benefited him compared to, you know, what it could have been. Tinker spawning into melee creep is very nice.
Soul Ladder's not doing much in this lane. The board is way too wide to not only not have an effect this turn, but possibly even the next few turns. So, going to opt to not play that just yet. Try and see what lane's going to develop wider in the next few turns and try and get the maximum value from that improvement. And the Axe with the Bronze Engineer already developing that lane. 11 damage on tower, turn 1 is not bad at all.
It's huge. I mean, this is good for Miss QQ in terms of her right lane. She would like to have, you know, a kill on the Tinker at this point, perhaps. But at the same time, against Bounty Hunter, being in the same lane, that would have represented a trade, which is good for SilverName.
And if Legion goes left and these creeps develop middle, you can play an Assault Ladder there, get some extra damage, and then Sorlikon in a wide board next turn is huge. I mean, you can get some great damage on the tower, or this turn rather. So in the end, Legion does go middle, so very wise decision from Miss QQ. Try and stop some of that damage there, because that would be huge damage with Assault Ladders. I'm
not going to lie, Panda. I'm still trying to recover from that third timeout. That one was by so much the worst. I mean, the win was there.
It was 100% there. It was literally a button press away. Do you think Miss QQ knew?
Yeah. I mean, when you're looking at the game in that moment, you usually do know.
Because the ganks have a pretty lengthy animation. I mean, I'm not gonna. I'm just putting the scenario out there. That could have been some next level stuff. But again, that's just on the player. That's on SilverName. He has to be aware of the time.
Yeah, I mean, it is so much a part of the lose condition. So we have the duel, but not wanting to sacrifice the Legion Commander to the creep combat afterwards. SilverName has the opportunity for Assault Ladders here. Might as well take a Potion of Knowledge first, but I like Potion of Knowledge into Assault Ladders onto this lane. If SilverName can do it once, he can do it again, Panda.
Win or rope out?
I meant win.
Okay.
But now that
Just making sure.
That's a fair question, though.
11 damage is great turn 1, but 20, or what's that, 20? 24? 22? Damage turn 2 is even better. Math.
So if you're SilverName, you probably like using Hipfire on the Bronze Legionnaire. Of course, that will get blocked out by this duel. Pretty costly duel. Costs 8 health in that case, even with the armor. But it might be worth it.
And it continues to add on damage to this tower. If Axe can take this tower by himself, that is huge. I mean, that is massive. Turn 3, maybe a tower kill if he gets another creep or another, a few more points of attack there. That would be absolutely massive. And it forces SilverName to either block it out, commit resources to the lane that's almost going to be lost, or ignore it and have it maybe even snowball out of control.
Yep. Now, both these players are going to be fighting for the left lane. You've got the ganks and the assassinates as a 3-of on both sides. This means that this left lane with these black heroes is going to be really, really important to contest. We're going to have to see Miss QQ's Phantom Assassin be developed into left, but she might elect to put her sniper elsewhere, maybe fighting for the mid lane in this case. I do like a double commitment left, quad commitment left. We'll fight for the mid lane with the sniper. Now, we've talked about this before. It's really risky. Ooh, I like this better.
Ignoring lane 2.
I do like this better.
Could be dangerous. Zorlikon and Assault Ladders are very dangerous.
But you do have cross-lane abilities. You've got the gank in hand.
That is true.
And the Berserker's Call, which can slow things down quite a bit. That's call actually looks really great middle next turn.
Will there be a next turn, though? I mean, Zorlikon can do big damage to the tower. At the moment, it's looking like she's doing 14, so it's close. And there is a Stonehall lead to block some damage there from Miss QQ if she wants to play that, maybe trade that into Zorlikon.
But if you are Miss QQ, I mean, everything is riding on left lane at this point, and you can defend left very well with 40 health on your tower. All you have to do is slow down mid enough to not get anciented, or maybe accelerate left enough to be able to win faster. And those are both very prime conditions here.
A lot of these big plays not yet available because they are, the 6 mana is kind of one of those big mana turn-ups where you get those very impactful cards like Coup de Grace, like Annihilate, for example.
Here's the Poaching Knife. Now, I like this Poaching Knife, basically top Poaching Knife value. It is the best card to be playing in these kind of scenarios where you and your opponent are both playing for the same lane. We're going to see a response of the Traveler's Cloak on Miss QQ's side to keep the sniper alive, and I would love to see a Hipfire re-securing that kill.
And this kill is huge because it delays Sniper's ability by 1 more turn as well.
Yep.
There's the gank coming down, killing the Sniper instead. So another great value gank by Phantom Assassin, surviving to this creep as well because of the low attack value from the Sniper.
That's huge. And she also has the Assassin's Veil equipped on her Phantom Assassin. This allows her to redirect her attack right into the Bounty Hunter, which is perfect for her.
So 2 for 1s are great, but 2 for 0s, now that is something else. But Hipfire instead coming down. Phantom Assassin will trade again 2 for 1. 2 for 0 is a bit maybe too greedy, too much to ask for.
Yep.
Still going to be a great trade here from Miss QQ. Stabilizes this lane and eliminates 2 heroes as well. Gets a lot of gold too.
2 for 1 is an amazing trade. Another thing you can do if you're Miss QQ is even next turn, you can use TP Scroll on your Axe to get out of there. Oh, you're also looking to smash the defenses on the Assault Ladders mid as well, which, I mean, it just slows down the Sorla's roll so much.
Miss QQ taking your time here. Not many more options aside from maybe a TP Scroll this turn on the Phantom Assassin, but I think you're going to want to redirect and trade here with the Bounty Hunter. Obviously, you're only at 1 health, so you can trade for that 7/7, and it's going to be a pretty good value trade.
The TP Scroll is fairly important to keep in hand, just for the Axe, just in case. It's a nice thing, kind of a get-out-of-jail-free card when things aren't going your way mobility-wise. So we're going to pass it back to the mid lane. Now, Miss QQ has 2 options. We've got Smash the Defenses on Ladder or Stonehall Elite in front of the melee creep. I think I like the Elite better, but she'll wait and see what SilverName does first here.
And if March of the Machines comes down, maybe a better target for Smash as well. Maybe in the second lane, it will not kill anything because there is armor on both Axe and Bronze Legionnaire, so probably not the best option for SilverName. I think he is definitely aware that armor will stop the damage, unlike against Ignite, for example, it is piercing damage. Instead, going to lane 1, no red heroes available in lane 1, so you can't really stop that with Smash. We mentioned it before. 3 smashes, only 2 red heroes, and this is where you kind of get played around.
Ooh, we see a smash on the Assault Ladders as opposed to the Stonehall Elite. I actually don't really like this as much. Stonehall Elite comes down into the melee creep. You know, developing it is always a great option, but beyond that, saving Smash for March maybe, which you can kind of curve better with mana on something like Assassin's Apprentice next turn. But also, either play kind of allows you to start fighting for this mid lane defensive-wise if you want.
So Stonehall Elite does guarantee lethal on this tower now, and lets you maybe TP Axe out next turn, or even TP him out now and kind of have like the guaranteed 10 damage, which is close enough to lethal and maybe make SilverName commit a hero into this lane as well.
Yeah, without TPing the Axe, I don't think it's really worth it to kill this tower now. I mean, there's no reason to commit resources for that at this point. If you want to TP the Axe and kind of like allow these creeps to take it on your own, which is a risk, but if you do want to do that, then the Stone Holy does need to go down on the right lane. I could have definitely seen that play.
And Horn of the Alpha, not bought for Miss QQ. Damaging Maul instead. I think she did not have the gold by just a tiny bit, probably off by 2 gold, I believe.
Thinking about that Red Mist Maul, and I do like that Red Mist Maul here.
The gold is available, but it does slow down the possibility to buy the Horn of the Alpha, maybe next turn.
3, 2.
Something very important is we have initiative on the side of SilverName here. We're entering the 6-mana turn. He does have the coup in hand and the laser potentially to use as well. Now, he needs a way to be able to deal exactly 4 damage to the sniper. You could kill it with something like a hipfire if you do draw it.
And SilverName down to 2 minutes. We're going to keep close watch this game. 2 minutes behind Miss QQ, so maybe not a problem right now, but could be a problem in the future.
All eyes on SilverName's clock. Double payday in hand, but you don't really have the gold for it in this case. And this is kind of what we were talking about in this matchup. I mean, you've got the poaching knife even, but it's off the board right now. And without being able to kill these tanky heroes on the side of Miss QQ, it's not going to do as much. This bounty hunter is right now being threatened by the Marsh.
And the disarm there coming in clutch right before the kill from the sniper comes down. So a trade of abilities, Tinker finally being able to use that ability. We've seen Tinker in quite a few matches barely ever use the ability because he dies so soon.
Yeah, and if you're SilverName, I mean, you know your Tinker's dying, so you know you just have to get the laser out first. So it's a necessary play there, but it's still not the value you want from Tinker.
And Coup coming down, discarding Assassinate. Not the greatest value, getting rid of one of your better spells in your deck.
Definitely the worst to discard there for SilverName. That double Assassinate was one of the kind of bailouts for this sort of hand scenario. I mean, that's huge value on turn 7, just being able to kill off 2 heroes. And Assassinate's really the reason you play Sniper. His signature card is just so much better than anything else he has to offer.
Bounty Hunter is going to die. You can equip Traveler's Cloak. You can also TP. He is disarmed. He's not doing combat damage. You're not missing out on any damage. You are getting 2 damage onto your own tower. And there's the coup de grace coming down onto Phantom Assassin, trading coup for coup, you know, hero for hero, sniper for Phantom Assassin, and instead going to opt to stay in this lane and keep those Town Portal Scrolls for later on.
Yep. I mean, she's committing 1 to the Axe as well. Town Portal Scroll could have come down here, but at the same time, you are tanking 2 tower damage, I suppose. So this mid lane might be relevant. It looked like Miss QQ kind of gave it up early, but if SilverName doesn't have the ability to pressure this out, and I think he's probably just going to double payday here, if he doesn't have the ability to pressure this out, QQ does have the ability to redefend this. The gank next turn could pick off the Sorla before SilverName can commit anything to this lane. Gotta see the double payday here.
The double payday gets you enough gold to get the Horn of the Alpha next turn if you're lucky and you get it on your item shop. So, and that could definitely swing the game in SilverName's favor.
Yeah, Horn of the Alpha is absolutely huge. Whoever can get it out first, and if the double payday comes down, both players will have the opportunity to. Whoever can get it out first is just looking to be at a really big advantage. One downside of Miss QQ's side is we can think a couple lanes ahead. The Axe is right. She has to TP the Axe, and in doing so, left lane, which is the fight lane right now, left lane is the lane to be in. SilverName will have initiative on the mana 7.
Only 4 HP on that tower, so Legion Commander doing work, stalling that tower out, whereas this lane going to continue to get demolished by pretty much everything that's going to continue doing damage here. Axe will get TP'd out. I think the Ancient Race isn't really a possibility. You don't have the Oath or any kind of Red Mist Pillager card in your deck, so it's not really a big chance. And instead, you want to fight for that first lane to the death.
Yep. I mean, this first lane is pretty much the only thing that matters. Although, if you're Miss QQ, you still have the opportunity to try to do something cheeky, defend that middle lane.
Sniper coming down with his ability active, and because the bounty was not TP'd out last turn, he went up to 4 health. Initiative for SilverName could be a very easy cleanup kill.
I think that's extremely important, Panda. I think that the TP needed to come out on the sniper. Obviously, you couldn't do that if you had only 1 TP in hand, but with 2 TPs in hand, or sorry, the bounty hunter, 2 TPs in hand, TPing the bounty hunter keeps her out of range of sniper. And if you're thinking ahead with your QQ, you know for sure you will not have initiative in this lane on the next turn. So you gotta be thinking really far ahead in Artifact.
And I mean, there's no other really a target. I mean, Axe and Phantom Assassin both with items equipped, both at very high health totals, and Sniper's ability becomes, you know, loses a lot of value there. Bounty Hunter, the clear choice here. And just a really easy activation here, I think, with the initiative, of course. Plays around the Fountain class as well.
You're in my sights.
You've pretty much got to take that. If you're SilverName, you could take something like a pickoff, but you'd rather get the free value here. And the pickoff on the Legion Commander could even secure middle lane if you want to commit resources there. But if you're SilverName, I mean, so much is about how this left lane goes at this point.
See the Hourglass doing work, locking a few cards here for Miss QQ, Mercenary Exiles, and the Ironfall Goldmine against not very impactful cards. It's kind of okay. Assassin coming down first, actually, allowing for a heal onto that bounty hunter.
Yep, this is really important. I mean, even without the option for a heal, she could still do something like coup de grace. So, bit of a sequencing mistake by SilverName there. You really, I think, got to take the headshot value while you have it. Assassinate is a card that will always be able to gain value.
Exactly. It's a lot easier to play around the sniper's ability because you can just Fountain Flask and heal, whereas Assassinate, not really the same option there.
Yep. That being said, SilverName does have the Apotheosis Blade in this lane, which is powerful. And beyond that, SilverName, all he has to do is deal something like 21 more damage to this left tower here. We can see Miss QQ's left tower is under much more pressure.
And the creep there, unfortunate attack from Axe, losing a little bit of damage on the tower. The coup could stop a lot of damage from the bounty hunter.
If you're Miss QQ, I think you're thinking about ganking the Sorla. If you can just set up a wall on this middle lane, you might have a very good mid lane. The coup comes down on the bounty hunter.
And discards Berserker's Claw, one of the more impactful cards in the hand and one of the available cards in hand for Miss QQ. Now instead, two very low impact cards. The gank is the only other option, but again, no mana for this lane. And then two cards locked as well.
This is really, really important.
No red card for Legion.
SilverName does have the opportunity to pass for initiative. I think he needs to be able to use the Apotheosis Blade, and he wants to this turn. He's going to headshot his sniper to clear a warpath, dealing a little more damage to the tower here. Everything is coming down to what happens on this left lane.
An initiative will give the kill on Legion Commander easily for SilverName without, Blink Dagger, for example, coming in before the blink could happen from Miss QQ to kind of get out of that lane. It's going to be lost at 4 HP already.
Yeah, this is really, really huge. The Apotheosis Blade threatens a little bit more damage. We have the Blink Dagger on the Axe, but this isn't going to really be doing enough here. And without the Berserker's Call, as you mentioned, there's not really that much of a response by Miss QQ. SilverName might have this as well. Apotheosis Blade can be triggered to kill the gold mine. Doesn't really matter much. It does give initiative back to Miss QQ. Might not have been worth that. 3 gold for initiative. I would buy that initiative there.
Both blinks spent, though. Legion Commander is, Town Portal Scroll could save her if he expects, I guess against Mono Black you expect 4 damage, mentioned before, the 4 total health or 3 health in an armor is huge, but instead it doesn't happen.
At the same time, if you are SilverName, you might not want to kill the Legion, maybe you just want to Gloaty Vandal. But even in this case, if you're Miss QQ, you would still rather have TP'd first. This is really important because it gives up initiative. Now SilverName has the opportunity to give it back. There it is on the Sorla. Both players just putting all of their resources into this left lane.
And SilverName finally confirms the lane 2 tower. This tower already taken by Miss QQ a while ago. And now the lane 1 we mentioned is going to become the big priority.
And this is really huge. This is the point at which that discard on the Berserker's Call has huge implications. Look at this Axe. 9-2-15. What a man. And these 3 squishy black heroes are coming down right in front of him. He needs to find that draw, but he can't. There's still the hourglass on the side of Sniper.
So the Hourglass will prevent the top deck for 1 turn, but if he gets a Time of Triumph here, he can use it next turn, and that could be the turn where he ends up winning it. The siege damage plus the, huge overstep with +4 to every single attribute.
I think this is going to be too hard. SilverName needs to be able to find something like, if the Helm of the Dominator comes out on the Assassin's Shadow, that might be what Miss QQ needs. It's still going to be a pretty weak unit given the amount of units on this board.
The coup may be more relevant on something like the Sniper's or Legion Commander to allow the Sniper to do 13 damage to tower, which will be 1 off lethal.
This looks really, really bad for Miss QQ. She needs to be able to play this Berserker's Call next turn.
The coup and the Assassin's Apprentice would threaten lethal. It would be 13 damage unblocked from the Sniper and then 3 from the Assassin's Apprentice. But instead...
Well, we have initiative here.
That's a trade. So stops the lethal. Well, it does stop the lethal for now.
Potentially, but the Gloaty Vandal plus the coup, the Gloaty Vandal, the pickoff, these all have ways to re-enable it. So if you're Miss QQ, you have a few options. You need to block something with Assassin's Apprentice, that's got to be Sorla Khan. Now, if you're SilverName, you don't have the mana to be able to kill the Apprentice, and that's really, really key here.
So a stall for 1 more turn. But Legion Commander survives, does damage to the tower as well. And there wasn't a Time of Triumph draw either. The Helm of the Dominator isn't going to do much. You can still creep and block some more damage maybe if it blocks Sorla Khan. Could be vital.
One really important thing is, again, this idea of gold tracking. We haven't really mentioned this, but if you're these players, you're thinking about what the opponent could have in their item hand, right? Because you can see the item and you can see the amount of gold spent. So if you're SilverName, you're thinking at a high level, you see 19 gold spent on what item? This is either a Helm of the Dominator or a Vesture. And he might be playing around Helm of the Dominator here. There it is. If SilverName doesn't develop anything good to steal, this melee creep will have to be stolen on the side of SilverName.
And Ring of Tarask, a great item as well from the secret shop for SilverName. It's not in his item list. It's very good. It gives 6 + 6 regeneration and +4 health. So it keeps a hero very, very healthy for, you know, pretty much every single turn after it's equipped.
It's a great pickup for Sorla in general. Anything squishy that is kind of a priority to keep alive, it will keep this hero alive pretty much throughout any combat. Still vulnerable to something like the Assassination. There's the Helm of the Dominator. Miss QQ turning this around. This lane looks much more so in her favor now.
19 to 17 HP after this is done, so very, very close, although there are going to be, you know, one extra hero there for SilverName, and of course the block there from Assassin's Apprentice is going to trade with that melee creep.
I'm sorry, sister.
Assassin's Apprentice on the side of Miss QQ redirects into the Phantom Assassin, just threatening a little bit more damage, and Miss QQ has the unlocks on the Bronze Legionnaire and the Berserker's Call next turn. If the Bounty Hunter goes in front of the Legion Commander, this Berserker's Call will clear 2 heroes.
These lanes are going to be boring to watch because nothing's happening. SilverName has to pass quickly, down under a minute now on his timer, so has to be very careful about that.
Yeah.
Slowly, this lane could push for an Ancient. I mean, very slowly, but it could be a win condition.
It could be a win condition. This game has to be ending faster than that. We see the Horn can't buy it. Phase Boots, however, is really good at this stage of the game. SilverName has a Claymore, one of the more basic items, but still one of the more powerful ones damage-wise. Double melee creep spawn for Miss QQ.
And the Phase Boots could swap within the creeps to get the perfect Berserker's Call. We talk about positioning being very important. Maybe swapping right in the middle there. Could be huge.
Berserker's Call is usually something that you can't really take 3 turns to set up, but if there's no answer in SilverName's hand, there's nothing he can really do about it.
There's no direct kill like coup de grace, for example, or an Assassinate, so...
This Phase Boots is gigantic. And even the gank, otherwise, if the Berserker's Call doesn't get used, could clear it up. Miss QQ sees it. This Phase Boots will work. Normally, this is not something that would be able to work. Something like an Assassinate or a Coup would come down multiple turns to stop this because it takes too many turns. But we can see SilverName has no answer in his hand. There's the pickoff, and he will use this prematurely to deny the Berserker's Call positioning.
But the Bronze Legionnaire and Mercenary Exiles can fill that slot and force a second pickoff to come down.
Yep, and I love the Mercenary Exiles here instead. This is going to be really, really tight. If you're Miss QQ, you have to play the Exiles. The Bronze Legionnaire is within damage range of pickoff. If the Exiles is played, it's out of the range of pickoff.
When we talk about the magical number 4 against Black, it's so, so important. That health total on creeps, on heroes, it plays around so many things.
Miss QQ's not going to be going for it at this point, just taking the simple gank into Sorla, which is maybe the safer play if you're not sure what SilverName might have in hand to be able to disrupt your combo.
You are guaranteeing more damage to tower, but your Phantom Assassin will die instead of trading with your opponent's Phantom Assassin, and now both players losing some damage to tower. Still, the trade is possible with the Phase Boots and a creep going into the middle lane.
Yeah, I really like this Phase Boots. I think you might have to use them aggressively here. I love developing something like a Mercenary Exiles, pumping it, swapping it with the Legion Commander using the Phase Boots, because you want this Commander just punching heroes at this point. It's got armor, it's got attack. More tower damage is important, but being able to keep these heroes down, it may be more important. Now, we see SilverName using the salve maybe a little prematurely there. It might be better for him to save that until after the Phase Boots to sort of bait Miss QQ into going there. If SilverName had held onto that salve, and I would have loved this. If Miss QQ swaps with Phase Boots, SilverName drops not just the salve, but the Claymore to clean it up. That would have been a really good bait.
Stonewall doesn't care about you. You're just a spoke on
And this Claymore, just due to the positioning, is doing nothing for SilverName. Really unfortunate, as +8 attack is very powerful.
And you mentioned it, a very basic item. It does something, but it does something only if, you know, have the exact condition. It doesn't do much more, like Phase Boots, for example. Much more complex item can work out in many different situations. In this case, Claymore going to do very little, going to just overkill a creep.
So, SilverName on the ropes.
But
There it is. There's the swap. He's going for the PA, but the Claymore is going to smash him. Claymore comes down. Miss QQ might be regretting this now. This is really, really huge.
and we see the health total for Legion Commander at 12, so the Phantom Flash will do absolutely nothing. And there's a pump onto the Mercenary Exiles. Still 10 damage, but you lost, you know, some of that damage onto the tower by swapping Legion Commander for the Bronze Legionnaire.
2 heroes destroyed on the side of Miss QQ. SilverName might have this. There's 3 deployments next turn for Miss QQ, double deployment for SilverName, which is not as strong. But look at these heroes. We have the Apotheosis Blade. We have Initiative on the side of SilverName. He needs this Apotheosis Blade to spawn into one of the opponent's heroes for maximum value.
And the Axe could do a lot of damage with Berserker's Call.
1 melee creep left on the side of SilverName. It's all coming up left lane here.
This Axe needs to find the right positioning.
Yep. But even without initiative, Berserker's Call might fall prey to something like a coup or maybe an assassinate, just clearing out one of your key heroes like Sniper.
Oh, the Axe on the edge there, on the very left, so not great position.
But on the other
for
side,
MSQQ.
Apotheosis Blade having no target either. Draws happen. Pretty weak draws for both players here. Nothing really impactful at this stage of the game. SilverName has initiative. We have Headshot. Going to use Laser on Axe. I love this play.
That's huge.
Locking out the Berserker's Call. You know exactly what you're doing with that play.
Even though it's not the I think ideal situation for Berserker's Call, you still clear out 2 units and can threaten lethal on the towers. So a huge disarm there from Tinker.
Now if you're MSQQ, you can respond with Sniper's headshots. Both players just killing off each other's heroes. Now SilverName Sniper's headshot won't be able to do enough damage here for him to be able to kill something. He's got the Apprentice and the Assassin's Veil to be able to redirect attacks wherever he wants.
He can kill the Legionnaire and open up direct damage to the tower. That's gonna be what he goes for. And threatening lethal.
And a Gloaty Vandal is enough to secure it. There's no way MSQQ can block this at this point. That's it. At this point, MSQQ has to play for a tie or somehow stop the Gloaty Vandal, but the Gloaty Vandal will come down. Is that it?
I believe that's it. Berserker's Call, if the unit is disarmed, will not do anything. Disarm means that in any instance, not just combat phase, you won't be able to do any damage at all. I think MSQQ knows this very well, hopefully.
Gloaty comes down. Keep in mind, Relentless Pursuit cannot be used in this lane because it can only target to damage a unit in another lane. And SilverName is playing his Assassin's Veil. He will play more units, but it doesn't make a difference at this point. MSQQ needs to be able to deal 6 more damage. She does not have it.
And there's a lethal finally threatened. 13 HP on the tower, 13 damage being dealt to it.
Exact lethal. This Apotheosis Blade has been kept down a little bit this game, but it is still able to lethal this tower at this point. Man, neither player being able to find the Horn of the Alpha in this game.
There it is. That's a lethal. 1 minute still left on SilverName's clock, so as long as he does press the button in this next minute, it will be I mean, he's okay, thank you.
I think
Source.
Yeah, time is I think that's the best way to think about it. I mean, having too much time is just as bad as being at like 30 seconds every time.
Having too much time is like having, if there was infinite time, it would be like having SilverName
Exactly.
on board all the time.
Yeah, no, that's I think that's a fair way to put it. So we have the duel in the hand of MSQQ. We've mentioned a few times we don't really like using duel too early in general. I think like a majority of people will use it a little too early, but at the same time, no opportunity for, whoa, taking the duel anyway.
Well, talking about too early, the kill here won't happen instantly, but the creep will trade with Phantom Assassin. And now because of the armor, Assassin's Apprentice will not trade with Axe, so that's a big thing. Obviously, Axe, important, and he has the armor that helps him win so many trades against creeps.
I've got to say, I really don't like this duel, Panda. I think this is the textbook example of a too early duel. Most of the benefit you get from killing a hero out of their action phase is the ability to deny their combat phase. This creep will still die, which does matter. Creeps being able to survive and put out pressure, being blockers, being attackers. This is a huge aspect of the game. We see the hand of MSQQ very heavy. Time of Triumph and Assassinate. You got to hold on to your resources a little longer there. That duel may come back to bite her. I really don't like that.
And the Pursuit is an early, a one-mana card, but it is a very kind of utility card, situational card, not a card you want to get impact on the board from by playing it early. So a bit of an awkward hand. Payday as well. If you don't kill too many heroes, Payday is not as great. 6 gold not going to be the fantastic option here, but she might take it.
On top of all that, the Axe has lost 10 health to that duel, which, it's still alive, it's still fighting, but that health will still matter. It's another resource that, she will have to leverage, and if she buys, something like a Fountain Flask, then she might not be able to play for Payday as much.
And now possibly at the end of this turn, we could see a Payday, or actually lane 2, the only black hero on board for MSQQ. The Axe could get a kill, possibly, against the Sorla.
So MSQQ's deck is basically built for the Payday option. If she draws Payday, she'll save up for it. She wants to draw something like another Payday, something like maybe some gold generation cards. A track is what she's looking for here. Presumably, she'll hold on to this gold just because she has it in hand.
And because Sorla goes lane 3, you can't really get a kill before the Payday can happen this turn. So if it does happen, that might be SilverName kind of doing the mind games, thinking if my opponent does have Payday, which might be the reason for the duel turn 1, I'm going to play Sorla turn 3 or lane 3 instead.
Smash the defenses drawn on the side of MSQQ. Now, if you're SilverName, you might be aware at this point, 3 smashes against 2 red heroes means there is this vulnerability on this one lane. If you want to play your improvement safely, it's got to be in this middle lane right now. Not right now, but, before the heroes die and come back to another place.
Payday can, going to come down here. 24 gold.
It's
One
it's
off
going
of
up
the
to 25.
horn, but once you get the 2 creep kills, it's 26 gold. That's enough to buy the horn if you're lucky enough to find it in your shop, the exact item.
If you find Horn this early,
It's massive.
I mean, there's almost no way to come back from that.
I mean, we mentioned gold kind of being like ramp. You can ramp, double stars align in time of triumph. You win the game. You can get Horn of the Alpha very early, turn 2, turn 3, and also maybe win the game as well. And no Slay in either of these lists is just massive.
Not enough of a gank target here if you're SilverName. You really wish your Bounty Hunter starts proccing Janata. Maybe not on this turn, but typically, even if it's attacking a creep, it still matters for the sake of something like Duel.
And that's an interesting play from SilverName. The Agility will die.
Yep, I will say this actually has a really important implication. If SilverName is able to draw March of the Machines next turn to play a black hero left, March mid, we get to 5 mana there. As
well as the Relentless Pursuit in hand. If you play a black hero, lane 1, you can Relentless Pursuit and get the upkeep kill on Phantom Assassin lane 2. So very interesting plays available for SilverName next turn.
Yep.
As well as the 5 mana lets you play both gank and Relentless Pursuit in the same turn.
I expect to see a pretty large commitment in the left lane there. But there's the Sorla going leftwards. Now, a bit awkward, there is this kind of fundamental distinction between the right and the left in this game. When you are, blinking from right to left, you kind of skip one combat phase. And every combat phase for Sorla matters, right? He lost out on the ability to attack on that turn 4.
Not just the mana, but also the fact that, the value of the body in the combat phase was just gone for that turn, basically.
Yep. You could have, if you were SilverName, elected to play an Assault Ladders before doing that into that mid lane. You're kind of committed at that point.
I would have preferred to see, maybe a lane 1 Relentless Pursuit the next turn after and getting the kill. The upkeep kill as well, I think more value in that. And you're going to have mana because it's only 1 mana, so you can play gank and play Relentless Pursuit from lane 1 and do both of those things.
Yeah, I completely agree. The most important thing that's not immediately apparent to Artifacts players at first, the most important distinction between those two plays is the Phantom Assassin respawns 1 turn later. You kill it from left to right, and it respawns on mana turn 7 instead of mana turn 6, which is huge.
And you block the coup as well, which is turn 6 is huge. Assassinate is also very important, but the turn 6, coming back is huge with coup.
So we see here, Miss QQ has track. She's got to go for a track opportunity here. It looks like she's saved her gold, did not see the Horn of the Alpha, and wanted to save enough gold to ensure that she would be able to buy next turn. She knows the position she's in. All she needs to do is be a little patient, get this track gold, get the Horn of the Alpha. The Hourglass comes down and saves the Tinker. Does she have a way to be able to re-threaten it? Unless she doesn't, unless she has the Bronze Legionnaire to be able to curve.
There's a gank coming in, killing the Axe, saving the Phantom Assassin. Again, 8 health, 7 attack. It was also relevant in the duel earlier on, kind of the perfect, duel partner for Phantom Assassin surviving. Dying to the creep, though, again, but still taking the creep with it.
And this, I think, is much more worth it than, for example, that duel. Keeping the Tinker alive, it's getting Laser up next turn, so it can keep itself alive, maybe. And keeping this track from proccing is really huge. Track kind of puts both players into this sort of mini-game where they have this additional priority.
And now imagine Relentless Pursuit. You save your Phantom Assassin, and you get the upkeep kill in lane 2. With just the free damage, 3 green heroes, and you get the lethal on the tower. I mean, that would have been huge. I guess Sorla wouldn't be there, but still.
Yeah, Sorla attacking tower is definitely a perk.
I think a very, okay play to make, I think. It would definitely be a different line of play, but still okay. Again, the heal does save the Phantom Assassin anyway.
I'd love to see something like a preemptive Hourglass on the Tinker. SilverName could save it for something like the Sorla instead, both important targets to keep alive. But the Tinker, just having the track on him makes him effectively doubly important. We're going to see the Hourglass coming down on the Sniper. A bit of an awkward play. Typically, you want that on a hero that's staying alive. Hourglass is actually a very strange item because it's a health item, but you want to use it on something that's kind of safe. So there's this middle ground. You want to use it on something that's damaged, but not so damaged that they might just die anyway. But using it on something that's dying that turn is not really what you want to be doing with that item.
And now, Assault Ladders was not enough to get this tower kill. Wasn't enough for lethal, so instead, Ironfall Goldmine going to be played, and that's going to be
a Gloaty Vendel, though, would have
That would have been enough, yeah. So maybe SilverName not really prioritizing the lethal on this tower, instead going for the gold, kind of investing in the future a bit more. Doesn't really have an option to move these heroes out of here, so it kind of expects to have the damage next turn anyway.
Yeah, I think this is probably the better play here, actually. There's a few things to consider, basically. Odds of going for Ancient, pretty low, although they are feasible with Assault Ladders, where odds of Miss QQ being able to defend, which are probably even lower. Defending low health towers against black is really risky to overcommitment, and then mobility of being able to get the heroes out. All of those factors skew in the favor of playing the gold mine there over the Vandal. You're not in a hurry to take mid.
There's a creep kill, saving your creep for the next turn, and just acting as a blink tagger, really. I mean, you see this lane, you already have complete control over it. You have, damage on tower. No enemy hero contesting you. You gotta move to lane 1, and again, it's gonna be a fight for lane 1, I think.
But the most important thing is that SilverName has the initiative here. Miss QQ looking for Horn of the Alpha. She buys a blink dagger. She does not. It looks like find the Horn of the Alpha right under it. Very unlucky item shot for her. She went off early with that payday.
But not reaping the rewards.
If Miss QQ had initiative here, the headshot would kill the Tinker before the laser comes out. Tinker could not be protected. That is all completely huge. And this is just one of the board states, and we saw this happening over and over last game as well. Whoever has initiative on the lane both players are fighting for is in a huge advantage position.
In turn 6, 6 mana available, so coup de grace now available to play to cancel out a hero for this turn. You can't really cancel out a color because mono black. You're gonna have black all the time. And for their hero, there's 3 black heroes, all of them here for Miss QQ as well. So all colors available. The only color available is going to be black. Can't cancel it out. Coup available for SilverName, March the Machines as well. But again, this lane is the one that matters.
Yep. March on the side of SilverName in hand. It's a pretty good draw, even at this stage in the game. And it's a pretty bad discard. Yeah, that's not really what you'd like to see. Maybe a bit better than discarding Assassinate, perhaps. But honestly, March might have been the most powerful card in his hand just due to its ability to be played for free mana over here on the right lane this turn.
And every other play doesn't make that much sense. Assault Ladders, still cross lane, still going to be okay, but again, you're casting it to the left, you're losing on the combat phase, and there is a very wide board there as well.
And there's that gank there. This is just necessary to clear off that Tinker. I think I really would have liked to see the laser being played first. You can even preemptively block the gank, because gank, like Duel, like Berserker's Call, these spells don't work on your hero if it's disarmed.
And Keen Folk Musket. We haven't seen much of it in this tournament just yet, but
it's about to go off.
It could come clutch. The kill here guaranteed on Miss QQ's Phantom Assassin. No mana or very little mana available for Miss QQ. Only the Bronze Legionnaire, but red not available here on this lane. And Blink Dagger does not heal you, thankfully.
Yeah, normally Keen Folk is held back for the same reason Apotheosis Blade is, the fact that it's not a deploy effect, but a 2-turn trigger. It gives the opponent an opportunity to heal their thing first, but with Miss QQ just having double Blink Dagger in her hand, very, very unfortunate item deck she's been seeing.
This lane is very weak, though, for SilverName. 16 HP. That could get scary.
So we could see the Hipfire coming out here. You would have to use it on your own unit, but it is hugely worth it here. If you want to play for initiative, I would love to see him Hipfire his own unit. I think you do have to. Initiative is too important. The Legion's probably not going to play anything. Assassinate on turn 1?
It's not going to happen, though. I mean, it's a very subtle play to make.
It is a subtle play to make. Do you think it's a good play?
It's probably, I mean, debatable.
Yeah, it's a consideration.
But still subtle. I mean, you don't expect it from most players just because it is such an odd play you don't normally encounter while playing normally.
Yep.
And this lane, it's alone, but it's going down very slowly.
It's so slow compared to
22 health still, so even if you race down the first tower, which is at 16 HP, you don't get the win. You have to get the third lane still. And
QQ finally finds that Horn of the Alpha.
About time. I mean, that was like 3 turns late.
Yeah, that's really, really awkward. I mean, you need that Horn of the Alpha online early. It looks like Miss QQ has the dominating presence left. SilverName needed to find mobility. He's got these 2 heroes stranded in a dead lane. Mid is the most dead lane ever, unless this game gets drawn out so long left that it eventually might become important.
It's like having double stars align and not having Time of Triumph. That just feels bad.
Exactly. At this point in the game, I mean, it's so hard for SilverName to defend left, though, with 16 tower health. But with 2 heroes stranded mid, you're eyeing that mid tower, and maybe you're thinking, this might become my win condition.
And the siege as well from the Horn of the Alpha from Thunder High Pack. Assassinate comes down immediately, kills a sniper
out these actives
with the active abilities. That's true, yeah. Initiative, like you mentioned, so important in this lane 1 with so many active abilities.
And we're probably going to see the same response. There's Assassinate killing the black hero on the side of Miss QQ. So Miss QQ can only play red cards here, SilverName can only play black, and they're both out of mana.
Now, it's important that Horn was, played now and not before the Assassinate, or else that could have been a big deal. Again, still, Axe is a very big health boost, so playing on Axe is always the safest option to play around Assassinate, for example. Although you can play around Coup.
Yep. I actually really like this Book of the Dead timing by SilverName. It's important to play that early before anything else happens, just because you want to get your stuff out early at this point, because the earlier you can pass for initiative, the more initiative you'll have.
This is oh so close to lethal. On this lane, though, lane 3 is still not down.
It's possible SilverName might encounter a situation where he starts taking a defense for right, but I think without any mobility in hand, there's just no way you can do that. Double Hipfire.
The Bronze Legionnaire guarantees the kill on that tower. You cannot blink or Town Portal Scroll the Legion this turn. It would be maybe a bit risky. I mean, you could go for it, but still, I think next lane with 2 HP, you can probably just get that without Legion Commander's help.
It looks like this is completely it for SilverName here. I mean, the Thunderhide pack will not be dying. The tower goes to 2. It's inevitable off of the siege. There's no way to draw into something like a Slay to kill it.
And there's no Slay. I mean, so much black, mono black, and you don't bring Slay. It's a weird one.
Yep. So I mean, SilverName has options. You can Assault Ladder here.
And maybe not getting that tower kill early on, we mentioned it. If you try and race for the Ancient, at this point, maybe this could have been a lane that you can take.
And sometimes you're forced to race for the Ancient. If you are in a situation where you can't find your Blink Daggers, now we know he doesn't have them in his deck, so maybe he couldn't find them in his collection. But when you can't find your Blink Daggers, you might just need to be flexible with your lanes. You might see this middle lane say, okay, I have no Blink Daggers. I have to try to kill it a turn early. That does matter.
This is lethal on lane 3. Perfect lethal with the Bronze Legionnaire. Nothing to curve into, of course, just a straight attack. Very easy smork here for Miss QQ. And now it's, again, all about lane 1.
Does give up initiative by doing that. I really would have liked to see a Blink from the Legion there. With that wide of a lane... Actually, no, you do have to kill that tower that turn. It's too important because mid there is a chance that mid gets taken in one turn, just due to the nature of how fast that tower is going down. Now, Tinker is SilverName's last hope. You need to block everything. You need to disarm the Thunderhide so that the siege damage isn't there, but the Time of Triumph will come down and it will stop that.
And even then, the Suicide Berserker's Call could be huge for the Axe. Even if the Axe dies, it could clear out the board for other units to attack, even with the Thunderhide pack disarmed. So
you need a coup here if you're Silver. You need to draw a coup, use it on the Axe, does not find it, and I think that's going to be it. I mean, you can disarm the Thunderhide pack, but the Siege from the Time of Triumph will be too much.
And the Sniper's ability clears out any unit you want. You can take your pick. Every single unit is under or at 5 health.
There's no way SilverName can either keep his tower alive or take her tower at 25. There's the laser out of necessity, but it's not really going to do enough. We'll have to see the headshot coming out in the PI here. There's no other play if you're Miss QQ. Or you could just Time of Triumph. I mean, either way, you are looking at a one game.
Or the Suicide Berserker's Call, like you mentioned, clears out the board, takes down all the heroes, no way to respond from SilverName, and SilverName in the end gonna lose here in lane 1, even with a disarmed Thunderhide pack sniper. Gonna get it with his measly 5 attack.
Panda, that timeout loss hurt me inside.
I am still recovering. I think SilverName is as well, considering he might have just won 2-0 in this series instead.
It would have been a win.
Instead, losing 1-2, Miss QQ taking it here and advancing on to the decider match against Lothar.
Yep. So, what did we learn?
We learned that you just have to be quicker. You have to be from the, I mean, look at all these, watch all the games and learn from the games. There are some mistakes we've seen repeated multiple times. The items being equipped after a silence as well has happened multiple times. So if you're not playing a lot, you're kind of inexperienced, making some small mistakes, at least look at these games and learn from them, because this is a really good Artifact to watch competitively.
Artifact is an extremely complex game. You will be punished by making like minor optimization errors. You know, we saw if that game was a little bit closer, Miss QQ probably gets punished by using that turn 1 duel.
And this is not your, your backyard Artifact tournament. This is, a lot of these players are really, really good players that have a lot of experience, not just in Artifact, but also in other games, have been playing professionally for many years. So you have to expect a very high level here. Let's see what the analyst panel thought about that interesting series.
All right, so I want to start with a bit of a PSA here, right? In case you're watching at home and maybe you're just not familiar with the clock. During the deployment phase, when you're picking where your heroes go, your clock continues to count down until you commit your deployments. And I think that's honestly what cost Silver. If you go back and you watch it, there were a couple of turns where he spent over 20 seconds just during the deployment phase. And the time was just ticking away over and over and over again.
I'm pretty sure it was that phone call that he.
Well, yeah, there was the phone call too. But
we watched the replay.
He was so chill. He was just like chilling, and then he's like, oh.
I have to say, of all my years in esports, I have never seen a loss in that manner because of a phone call / just chilling during an official match.
Well,
very interesting.
And this is why I mentioned the deployment thing, right? Because when you're playing during your turn, I think you're more kind of paying attention to the clock, but during the actual deployment, because you're focused on, like, this is where things go, you might not be paying as much attention. I just don't think players realize that your clock is ticking until you hit the button.
Now, by the way.
He may have had like
this was the animation of gank, right? Is that what cost it?
Well, he was actually
it's just like the Thunder God's Wrath idea, right?
It took him a while.
He was actually at 0 seconds for like 3 straight actions there. It was just that one was kind of the straw that broke the camel's back.
And something to note that I think Charmer brought up as well at some point. As a spectator, obviously all we see is the clock, and occasionally we'll see like this big red number in the middle. But when you're playing, it's like this woman is just screaming in your ear. Like, it's very obvious.
Yeah.
It's also very aggravating. Like, it's hard to ignore. Like, she actually yells at you again and again. So
as she should.
It is a loud